There was an idea
to bring together a group of remarkable people.
To see if we could become something more.
Avengers Infinity War is the 19th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and of those 19, it is the third that is Avengers specific. And warning, in an attempt to keep this review spoiler free, I'm going to be purposefully vague. Deal with it. Marvel has been on a bit of a tear with the last few movies. Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, and Black Panther were all stellar movies. Throw in the fact that Infinity War is directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, who previously directed both Captain America Civil War and Captain America the Winter Soldier, which are, in my opinion, two of the best movies in the MCU thus far. My expectations for Infinity War were pretty darn high. Fortunately, Infinity War did not disappoint. It is the culmination of everything that Marvel has been working towards since the original Iron Man back in 2008, and it is one heck of a ride. Understand, this was never intended to be a standalone movie, so if you go into it expecting or even wanting that, you're going to be very disappointed. Infinity War assumes that you are all caught up on all things MCU, and with that assumption firmly in place, it hits the ground running, which is exactly how it should be. Marvel fans have watched 18 movies to get to this point. We don't need an hour of backstory or narrative or setup, just freaking go. And that's exactly what they do. It's worth noting that while this is an Avengers movie, and while each Avenger gets his or her moment in the spotlight, this story very much belongs to Thanos. See, in my opinion, what makes for a great villain is not just trying to explain why they are evil, or just wrong. I guess they don't have to be evil. But helping the audience understand why said villain sees themselves as the hero of the story. While there's nothing wrong with a bad guy who is psycho or power hungry or just likes being bad, having an antagonist that you can actually empathize with makes for a much better story. Much like Killmonger and Black Panther, I understood the logic behind Thanos' idealism and actually felt for the guy a few times, in spite of how monstrous his overall plan turned out to be. The only other thing I'll point out about the story is I was surprised at how dark it got. Not visually, but tonally. There were a few scenes where you knew what should happen. You're like, nah, this is a Marvel movie. There's no way they'd do that. And they went ahead and did it anyway. The majority of this movie and almost all of the new characters are CGI, which is to be expected. But at least most of the time, the CGI looks really good. I also like how they kept the shaky cam to a bare minimum. I'm very much not a fan of shaky cam, so the less it is used, the better. I also have to give kudos to Alan Silvestri for the score. While a number of MCU themes thus far have been memorable, nothing has really stood out as fantastic to me. However, there were a couple of moments in this movie where the soundtrack was so good it was actually distracting. I really don't want to spoil anything in this movie, so I guess that's going to have to do for now. Bottom line, I love this movie, and while it has its flaws, I'm going to have to give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I wrestled with the idea of 4.5 out of 5 for a little while, just because in hindsight I see flaws that I didn't see at the moment, but it had me so wrapped up in the moment that I didn't care about the flaws at the time, so I'm going with the 5 out of 5. If you're a Marvel fan, this is an absolute must-see. If you're not a Marvel fan, why are you watching this video? That's it, guys. Have you seen Marvel Infinity War yet? What is your favorite MCU movie thus far? And or what upcoming MCU movie are you most excited to see? Let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you next week.